Hey, you're never going to believe this, but it is show and tell yet again. And there's the echo. That means it's all working perfectly according to plan. Thank you for joining us again. I know we just did a show and tell last night, but here's the next one. It's near constant showing and telling here. So come on by. If you have something you want to show, we want to see it. All you have to do is head over to Discord. If you go to adafru.it/Discord, you can get an instant, immediate, free lifetime invitation to the Discord server. Head on over to the live stream chat channel. Is that what we call it? Live broadcast chat channel. And you'll see a link right there for StreamYard. That's where we're doing all this showing and all this telling. And I know we have a couple of exciting showers and tellers here lined up today, and maybe more will come on. We're going to do this for a half hour. So if you've been dying to share with the world a project you're working on, please do it. Please come on over here. First up, we've got our very own Mr. Sedacious himself, Brian Siebert. Hey, Brian.
Hello. How's
Welcome.
it going, JP?
How's it going today, first of all?
I'm good. I'm great. I finally got a project together physically that I've been working on for a while. So I was, like many people, signed up and excited to go to the Open Hardware Summit. However, COVID happened, and it being in New York, we decided maybe do it online instead of in person. So I was working with Alex and some other people whose names escape me on the badge, which is a open source CircuitPython powered watch. So,
right. Is this something Drew had been talking about? Drew
yes,
Christine?
exactly.
Yeah.
I think he's shown it off a couple of times in prototypes.
Yeah.
I think also Michael Willing was the guy who helped design it.
Mm-hmm.
It was sponsored by DigiKey. They provided parts. SparkFun, I think, did the assembly and some other support stuff. We got a whole bunch of cool people. Adafruit helped out with some stuff too. Design KiCad, all open source. So I was super stoked to get this. And I remembered for a while I just had the boards themselves, like yay. Not much on its own, doesn't look much like a watch. So I remembered I had this cool watch band. Found it, put it together, and here we go. Unfortunately, I don't have a good camera for showing this off, but let's see if I can get closer so you can see the screen. No, it's upside down, but there it goes. So I can, right there is showing a loader program that I wrote, where it will look in an apps directory and allow you to run any projects or programs that you put in there. So now it's time to actually make it do stuff, like tell time.
Oh, so tell us about the processor that's running on here and the capabilities. Does it have like wireless and things like that?
Sure. Yeah. So it's actually very similar to a Clue board. It's got the same exact screen, same or very similar NRF 52840 Bluetooth module. So it's a Cortex M4 running CircuitPython nice and well. Got Bluetooth, of course. It's got a gesture sensor, accelerometer, pressure sensor, whole bunch of stuff. Sensors up the wazoo, you might say. It's also got a STEMMA QT/quick connector for plugging in other sensors, and battery connector for obviously running off batteries. A couple of other things I'm probably forgetting as well. But yeah, it's a fun little board.
Approaches to coding it. What types of languages and IDEs and things are you thinking about using with it?
I'm personally going to stick with CircuitPython. I know you can do a lot with just that. Mm-hmm. And I like, working on fun, in-depth projects to kind of push the limits of what's capable. You can also run Arduino programs on it. Basically anything you can do with a Clue, you can do with one of these. Mm-hmm. I think does MakeCode support the Clue yet? Do you know?
No.
Okay.
I don't believe it does. Sometimes people figure out ways to do it with a different, like NRF 52840 board in the maker.make code, and they'll get some stuff, but I don't believe there's a dedicated Clue one
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm sure that could happen eventually if
cool.
effort was put into it.
Would you show it up close and personal again? People wanted to have a look at it.
Yeah, sure. Here, let me move my camera around, see if I can get a proper angle. So, focus. Okay. So this is the big leather strappy band. I had to replace the leather strap, so I just have them zip tied together for now. But it's got 4 buttons. You can use all the sensors and stuff are on the back of the board. It's got I have it actually rotated 90 degrees from how it's meant to be because I like the USB coming out the side. But yeah, it's nice, relatively small. Actually looks watch sized. So I like the form factor. I'm really excited to do more stuff with this. I have been working on a project. Actually, a couple now.
There he goes.
And been working with some people in the Galaxy's Edge Discord, some of whom I think to get them to do fun stuff that wasn't sanctioned by Disney.
Very cool. Yeah. So you've got BLE beacony sorts of things, maybe that the Star Wars lands like to interact with, huh?
Yes, totally. Yeah. So you can make it seem as though your droid is in Galaxy's Edge, even though it's actually in your house. Yes, I would say anyone who's interested in Star Wars stuff, regardless if it's like making stuff or just talking about lore or merch or whatever, go to the Galaxy's Edge Discord. Tons of cool people there. They're all very nice, and you'll find some cool thing to do there.
Yeah, for sure. I know a couple of people from the Burbank makerspace who are very active on Galaxy's Edge in the maker area, and they love working on that kind of beacon stuff with the droids and the location-based stuff.
Yeah, they released Disney actually released a phone app that allows you to control your droids to do, treat it like a remote control. I think basically do everything you could do with a normal controller and then some. And people are actually able to reverse engineer what's going on over Bluetooth there and allow you to just arbitrarily control it. So it should be possible to turn my watch into a droid controller, but I actually have to do the work.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah. So hopefully you can chat with Spork and Tammy. They're my friends here about what sort of stuff a watch that does those things would be fun to use.
Yeah, I think someone beat me to the punch and was already doing stuff with the Clue. I forget their name off the top of my head, but yeah, I'm not the first one to blaze this path.
Yeah, well, if people aren't familiar with it, and I'm not that familiar with it, but there are a few toys you can buy at the parks, at the Disney parks, that have Star Wars land functionality depending on where they are, right? There's some droids, there's some, I think, crystals for the lightsabers. Here we go.
So here's my R2 unit to shill for Disney for a minute. It's pretty cool. All of these different pieces, like the body, the head, the legs, are all separate pieces that you can assemble. So you get to pick out, the body and the head. They have all kinds of different shapes. I chose the classic kind of R2 one. I like it a lot. Yeah, I've got another one somewhere that I had to buy to fix this one because I bricked this one trying to mess around with the firmware. But it's fixed now, so it's all good. You can see I even put a little debug port on the side. But yeah, these are great. They you can, I think it's around $100. You go, there's a whole experience where you can build it from parts, and then you go through the whole boot up process, kind of bringing it back to life, or rather bring it to life for the first time. And then when you take it around the park, Galaxy's Edge, there's Bluetooth beacons that make it respond in different ways, and so you kind of you can use personality chips to choose a faction for your droid. So if you choose like a rebel droid and you take it into the First Order area, it will kind of freak out and be all sad. So yeah, it's super fun. They're $100 is still a lot of money, but in the grand scheme of things, for a fun little toy that enhances your experience and has all kinds of possibilities for hacking, it's not so bad.
And then with some of the watch hacking you're talking about doing using the open source hardware summit watch, you'd be able to suddenly say, oh, we're in this area that rebels freak out in, or whatever. You could just
Right, exactly.
it.
So I could make my house a rebel stronghold, or I'd probably be more of a scoundrel type person. Boba Fett's my guy. But yeah, it's pretty neat.
Well, very cool. We're looking forward to. I'd love to see more about this as you hack on it, and we're looking forward to seeing the watch do some stuff. Do you know? Is there a site with the compiled info about the watch, probably on GitHub somewhere?
So if you go to circuitpython.org/downloads, there is an entry for the Open Source Summit 2020 badge.
Okay.
It's got some information there. There is also a Open Source Summit 2020 organization on GitHub. I believe that's the organization. If you search for Open Source Hardware Summit 2020 badge, you should be able to find it. It's open source. All the CAD files, KeyCAD files, all that fun stuff are all on there. We've got some test programs you can work from. So hey, if the bomb's up there, so if you want to order a board from Mosh Park and all the parts from DigiKey or whoever you like to get your stuff from, you can make one your own.
Very cool. I love it. Well, thanks so much, Brian. Appreciate you coming on with all your cool stuff, and say hi to your little pet there.
Yeah, it's my daughter Sadie. She's she's my little love. Hi, baby.
Excellent. All right. Well, we'll see you next time. Thanks, Brian.
See you, JP.
All right, and we also have that was some really cool stuff. We also have our own fan favorite, Colin Cunningham. Hey, Colin. I don't hear you at the moment. It sounds like
I was at a loss for words because I appreciated your introduction so much. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. I had a kooky technical error filled workshop show.
You worked
earlier.
It though. You always do.
Oh my gosh.
Always.
You know what?
Juggling all of that.
I should have been more suspicious of doing what I knew I was about to do, which was have a web-based streaming program running as a demo inside of a web streaming application. And it ate one of my
push
cameras.
It to the limits. You are a power user, to say the least. I'm always impressed. You always, and you work well in the improv manner. You deal with it. I think that's probably why I've never really done a live show too much, is because no, I just add chaos onto it. I appreciate the way you deal very much. So I was enjoying Brian talking there, doing the show and tell, and he made me look up how to pronounce KICAD, because I always say KiCad, and I heard him say KeyCAD, and it turns out Brian's right. It's KeyCAD. It is KeyCAD.
Okay.
So I got these down.
I know a T-shirt or something that tried to do it with
graphics
really? And tell you how you're supposed
I never saw the T-shirt. That's my problem.
The T-shirt. Yeah.
So I got it. So it's Moog, and it's KeyCAD.
Yeah.
There's probably a few
Those
others
are the
too.
Tricky ones of the. Yeah, and I noticed a lot of Europeans just say, "Screw it, we're going to say Moog," like unapologetically.
We still know what they mean, so I guess
and we know what they
problem.
mean. I wonder what they say about KeyCAD, KiCAD. Yeah.
I'll have to ask them. But you mentioned the idea of jamming along together. Against the grain of internet lag would be an interesting experiment, and would probably require a lot of loosening of standards for musicality and coordination. But I'm always open. I'm always open.
Okay,
I think we did
good.
a long time ago. We did like a little soundtrack for one of the pseudo random videos from Keyboard Noises, which is fun. It reminds me of that.
Oh, that's cool.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
And
I'm open. We'll come up with
whenever's your pleasure. You tell me.
All right.
But I was inspired. Thought you showing off the the Bluetooth, the wireless Bluetooth, especially the idea of putting it on the back of a glove, reminded me of an old idea I had where like there could be a band, and then each member would be able to control like an effect or something of the other band member's instrument, And some practical applications like, wow, the guitar player is way too loud, turn down their volume or something. But also it's just a creative idea. And I always sort of struggled with, oh, but they've got their hands full already. How would they do that? How would they apply that? I'm like, maybe a pedal or no, there you go. You put that right.
That's interesting.
In the back.
And I like the idea of maybe certain players who often have issues with other players being able to like pick up the groove of the drummer a little bit with electric shocks or drop the lead guitar.
Right. Well, you're really expanding on the idea with small electric shocks. You tell the drummer he's lagging behind. Yeah. Or playing too fast. That's one of the problem with drummers.
I don't know if you can see this comment here, but Timothy said, mostly as a European, I just don't get why the L in solder doesn't get pronounced by Americans.
Right.
Yeah, we don't say that L and it drives people crazy.
I remember I talked to the Ruiz brothers about that in the past, and I just solder. That's one. I'll be able to switch to KeyCAD, but like GIF, and I can't say GIF, I say GIF, and solder.
I think if I recall correctly, I lived in Atlanta, Georgia at one point, and I believe they said the L in the word egg yolk. I think they said yolk. And so
I never even thought of that one. It's a good point.
I wonder now, do Southerners in the United States ever give solder the L? So
solder.
If anyone in the chat can weigh in on that, I'd be curious if there's any American accent, regional accent, where the L in solder is pronounced.
Solder has soul in it. That's probably why I couldn't.
No,
the real reason is other people still say solder.
I've seen comments on YouTube videos where Brits just put the word solder in quotes spelled SODDER like 5 times out of anger after watching me say it wrong. For them.
Could be maddening, but this is our challenge now today. To everybody translate for each other and adapt, and it's a beautiful thing.
No, I'm sure it's grating on their ears, but
right.
Let's see. We also have Mark Olson in the chat says, I say KiCad, not KeyCAD.
Yeah, same Mark.
UK, now Sweden. Okay.
Right. But we still know what we mean. So it's not really a problem, right?
It's true.
Right. Yeah. And that's, I designed that board on the mechanical keyboard thing. And KeyCAD.
Yeah.
Have you used KeyCAD?
No, you know what? I learned Eagle a little bit, and then I didn't use it for a long time and found it a bit maddening. And then I was gonna maybe try to learn KeyCAD. Actually, I just needed to use, it had like a spice simulator I wanted to try out. And so I installed it just long enough to use that circuit simulator. And then I decided to give Eagle another chance. And now I've used Eagle more than anything. And I'm not super experienced, but I've done a few boards with it and I'm getting more comfortable with it. So I don't have an opinion because I don't know them that well, but one of the reasons
I always loved Eagle
was just I knew we had all of the Adafruit parts already in Eagle, and I was like, all right,
right on.
Momentum there is, I'm Mark tells me I'm wrong. If it's in the words, say it.
Oh, I know I'm wrong. But sometimes
I'm not defending this behavior, but it is just my behavior.
Right. Yeah, I was always a big Eagle fan, and not Eagles or the Eagles, but Eagle. And I came back after they went to their subscription model and everything, and I tried it and it seemed pretty good, but added a bunch of things that made it more complicated. I don't know, something bounced me off of it, and I went and tried KiCAD, and I liked it a lot. And I have, since getting deeper into it, noticed it's missing some things that I liked about Eagle, and the routing is strange, and I still wonder if there's anything I can do to change that behavior in there. But I'm sticking with it. There's a lot of things that are just cleaner, simpler, and I like that. When stuff gets sort of heavy with new features and options, it can get harder and harder to see your functionality through that.
Yeah. I have a project coming up that I may use Fusion 360 on. I tend to, for reasons of
that I haven't touched,
I tend to use Maya and Rhino for most of my 3D modeling, but Fusion is clearly super smart for a lot of reasons, one of which being it's a parametric procedural modeler, and so you can adjust one dimension somewhere and have it ripple through the model. Like stuff like that is fantastic.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I just don't
I'm
know it as
updating
well as some of
footprints
those
here and
others.
everything.
But if I do end up using it for this project and pushing myself, I may try to try out some of the interoperability it has now with Eagle. So you can go make an enclosure in Fusion that fits the PCB in Eagle, and if you put like a jack somewhere else, they can have live links between them.
My brain doesn't even have a concept of how much better that would be. That sounds magical.
Yeah, it's pretty enticing. And you know, if I could take the time and be disciplined about it and maybe watch a bunch of Ruiz Brothers videos, I think they've gone over so many good Fusion tutorials over the years, and the resources right there. There's no reason not to. It's just got to do it.
Yeah, that sort of stuff sounds amazing. Right now I'm doing trial and error to get, like, you know, the graphic to be the right scale. You keep, like, you know, going back and reapplying clunkiness and plugin kind of thing. So that would be good. I got something else to try then. This is good.
We had another good one here. Cedar Grove mentions the word aluminum, but this is one where the extra L's actually appear written, I believe.
Aluminium?
Aluminium.
That's with the I versus the with just U, right?
Just num and neum. Yeah, I think that's another one.
Wait, is it alternate spellings with aluminum?
I believe so. Someone tell me. I think that it's actually spelled differently, kind of like the OU for color. I
was going to say, I say color. No,
yeah. Oh, I think they get the extra I there. Sedacious is mentioning that we can now do PCB design in Fusion as well. Oh, that's interesting. Within the program and not pulling in stuff from Eagle. Oh, you know, I think I kind of.
That's what I thought
that
you were saying at first.
Yeah,
because I did hear about that.
Yeah, I knew there was interoperability maybe a couple years ago, but maybe now it's more just PCB design inside of Fusion. That's interesting.
I'm taking notes.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Oh, here's more. I can't get off of this solder thing or solder thing. The word solder comes from Middle English word soudure via Old French soldere and solder from the Latin solidare, meaning to make solid.
Ah, solid. Okay, so maybe if I have that in the brain cache,
right,
I might be able to switch it up. And now everybody will accuse me of being weird because I'll say solder, right?
I don't think we can win.
It's all about context. No, you can't win. There's
I'm
no.
Just gonna call it tiny welding.
Yep. Metal melt. Yep.
Not wedding. Welding.
Melting.
That L is there. Good. Okay. Well, this was mostly tell. More than show and tell, but
it is. Well, I already showed you this thing yesterday. So we had a lot to tell about. We covered some topics.
Yeah, it really is. I have a really disappointing 12. Like I bought this for a few dollars on Amazon because I just like having
is that accompaniment to the other board you had?
A numpad. Yeah, just for my regular. So my regular keyboard is this this thing, which is
okay.
KUL. Cool.
Cool. Yeah.
I
think they stopped making those actually.
It's lovely mechanical keyboard.
Nice one.
Switches. It's really.
Nice thing about a lot of the cool keyboards is you can replace the top cover with a different color.
I didn't know that until you told me that was a thing. But yeah, the whole top snaps off. But this is, you know, doesn't have a numpad. So I got this just for occasionally numpadding stuff in, and it's terrible. It's like just, you know, rubber dome switches, and I always liked the roundy calculatory kind of buttons.
Okay. I thought it was actually made accompanying to that other board you have.
It's a junky. Nah, it's not that good. Funniest thing is it has a 0 button that kind of sometimes does itself like twice. So you'll suddenly have 4 zeros. It's like real sensitive. I don't know what it's doing. It's
so
weird
since there is no 0 character, it's actually just sending the command twice. And
right? Then, so there's like a timer chip in there that just pounds the thing. It like auto fire.
Casual, little freestyle button. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. It's pretty fun.
Trying to innovate, you know, it's a bumpy road going there.
I do at some point want to replace this with maybe a custom, nicely designed PCB along the lines of your vote thing there. I kind of would love to make my own diode matrix.
Sure. Yeah, it's remarkably easy as long as you know, do it once, like everything. Yeah, I have some other stuff I'll have to come back and once it's working. I won't try anything, but one thing I actually did just get, which I need to experiment with, is you seen this, the doubler microphone, which is what is it, Voclia doubler, and the idea is that it's system, really the software does all the heavy lifting, but of for voice or sound to MIDI conversion on the fly, and yeah, and did just a little bit of testing so far. And basically, this is just a microphone that the software is optimized for, because it's a big stumbling block is for sound to MIDI is it helps to be optimized for the frequency response and everything in the microphone. So they sell it together. You know, you can't use it independently. But for beatboxing, it was pretty impressive. I was pretty impressed. And I can only imagine if you actually had something that converted it, you know, an embedded solution, some DSP magic or whatever, could be really, really, really accurate. But,
oh, that's interesting. Okay, so I think I've seen this advertised like in my Instagram feed or something, and it's a MIDI controller,
it's like all
where
ads
you
with
might
like
have
3 people
loaded up a
in
bunch of samples in Ableton, and then you're humming or singing or beatboxing.
Or software instrument, whatever.
Very cool.
Yeah, it lends me to some DIY ideas, but they might be a good few years in development before they worked out quite as good as this. Interesting.
You know what? I just picked up this DSP. I just got this Daisy DSP board, so it looks kind of like a teensy sized guy here. This is a pretty purpose-built for DSP board called it's from Electrosmith, and I think they call it the Daisy Seed. Is this little board? It's got like a couple USB hosts on it, a bunch of ADAC pins, and it does really beefy. It's like a STM F7, I think, one of the beefier chips on there, so it can do for real DSP. And they're writing their own DSP language for interfacing with it, but it can also use Arduino, and they're going to do like some pure data, like a version of pure data and a version of Max that can go on them, as well as I think MicroPython. And then there's a Kickstarter, and the version I got had this breakout board that gives it like MIDI and audio in, out, and one other, and then a couple of knobs and buttons and stuff. But this thing is the kind of like super purpose-built DSP beefy little boy that I wonder if you could get working with that microphone and do embedded beatbox to MIDI kind of stuff.
Right. I just work with your own microphone. I think this is just basically a USB mic, and there's really not much else going on there. But yeah, totally do something like that. Are there any cool applications already written for that?
There's just some sample code, maybe 10 or so
just
sketches that I played around with. It's Andrew Eikenberry is one of the people who developed this. He created Qubit, not Qubit. Yeah, Qubit. Is that the name of there's a modular synth company, and 2HP as well. He's created like 2 different Eurorack modular companies, as well as I'm sure plenty of other accolades and things he's done. But yeah, Electrosmith down in San Diego, and they do some like sub modules. I built like a VCO for my Eurorack based on their little mini sub module. They have some cool stuff, but this is an exciting one. So I'm
that's pretty wide open.
Eager to get a chance to start playing with it and see where it can go. And they've taken that little board, and they've made a few different form factor sort of plugins. So there's like a guitar pedal looking one, there's a desktop synth one, there's a Eurorack module one, there's the Bear thing, and then there's this little experimenter breakout kind of guy.
A Bear thing lets you control DSP of a Bear. Wow. See, this is true innovation. This is frontier stuff.
Yeah, no one else had that before. So all right, cool.
There are reasons.
Thank you for the chat. Fun, interesting stuff.
Thank you for providing the platform to chat.
Yeah, right on. Good. Okay, well, I guess we'll wrap it up there. That was a half hour. That's what we had budgeted and bargained for and promised the world. So that'll do it. Thank you, Colin. We'll see you next time around. I'll think about that jam. I'm
ready whenever. You just tell me.
All right. Ciao. Bye, everyone.